Okay, so this is our first Ask Ollie video, and last week I put on social media for people to ask any questions they wanted from you. So to give background, you've worked here for, I think it's like nearly 60 years, 58, 57 years?
58 years.
Yeah, and so you have obviously a very many years of experience, and we got some questions which were quite a lot of similar questions, but the kind of overall thing was, how has the Shetland clip and Shetland fleeces that you see now changed compared to 50 years ago?
Yeah. When I came here first in 1967, the bulk of the sheep was Shetland sheep. They lived on the hill, totally natural. The price of wool still was quite poor, with mammoth fibre coming in the 1950s. And so Shetland crofters were getting a pound for their wool. They suddenly realised that that money wasn't there, so they looked for another source. And they took in big cross sheep like Cheviot, Suffolk, Blackface, in order to get a big lamb. Shetland lamb's very small and didn't command the price at all, but this big sheep required extra feeding. So you could see the hills getting improved. The hills were getting reseeded. The minus with this was that they needed more attention, the big sheep. They couldn't lamb themselves like the Shetland could on the hill. From a wool point of view, you had what we called heavy wool, because we had fine Shetland and we had rough Shetland, and then we had heavy, which was cross. The cross fleeces have got a different handle. They canna make a yarn. The grading system set up in the 1970s, the Cheviots, the crossbreds, the heavier fleeces, had to go into lower grades. Shetland, in the 1 and 2, Shetland Flock Book Society was prominent in setting up the flock book, the grading. And you can understand you didn't want an inferior wool to go in with the Shetland. So the grading is a standardised grading. We follow that religiously every time we grade.
And so the fleeces you're seeing now, the wool you're seeing now, is just quite different overall from what you would see 50 years ago, or there's still bits and pieces of kind of older Shetland, like the way it used to be?
Yeah, the Shetland fleece nowadays, there's less sheep
In general.
the whole sheep.
So how many sheep was there? I mean, 40 years ago.
It's very difficult to say, but why is there less Shetland sheep on the hill? Because the authorities, the government, had a scheme where they paid crofters to take sheep off the land. What's happened there is you have less hill sheep, there's less competition for pasture, so this also reflects on the wool.
Yeah, how does that change the feeling of the wool?
Yeah, it makes the wool that wee bit, I use the word woolly. The handle changes. I'm not sure about whether it affects the micron, but it does. A fleece normally would be a couple of pound weight, and that's less than a kilo. New Hull Shetland can be up to 2 kilos.
Yeah. Okay, and then so kind of on a similar thing is, do we find that the clips and fleeces can change quality year to year, and what would make this happen? So you've got the same sheep, the same land, but the fleeces would be different each year?
Yeah, that's why the grading system is key. You have a standard you grade to. So climatic conditions, if you get a really bad summer and it's wheat and that sheep is only shorn in August, you get a completely different wool.
Mm-hmm.
You also, with the Hull sheep, if it's late clipping, say you clip a Shetland Hull sheep in September, that sheep is rubbed into the peat banks and the peat moor affects that fleece, meaning it's more costly for the buyer of that fleece to scour it.
So that's affecting their grade. They're not going to get a good grade because of the grade is not just about the wool, is it? It's how it's brought to us, what's in it, and
That's a very good point, because presentation of your grading is important. The fleece is rolled for the breech, the neck, and you show the fine ewe. Sometimes the fleece isn't rolled up properly, so that grader is moving really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Over 80% of the wool clip goes through here in a very short time.
Yeah, and with very little space.
So you really need to be able to tack that fleece.
Mm-hmm.
And it's rolled, you look at it, and you have to think right away.
Yeah. And so, I suppose, what can you do to improve that? It is about clipping the right time if you can, packing it right, rolling them right, and that's because we have a video as well. Mind you, we filmed a video of how you kind of present your fleece for judging, but that's probably to follow the same thing for
I know it's expensive to shear.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite expensive, but it's really essential that fleece, especially that Shetland, is shown in its correct light.
It's giving it the best chance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the last question we're going to do for today is a more fun one, and that's, so what would you have done as a job if you hadn't been at JNS?
Yeah, well, that's quite easy, because when I was at Bern, I went to Vidlin, to Crofton district in the northeast of Shetland, and I fell in love with the land and the animals. Coming from an island at Isle, I was fishing, but when you went to Vidlin, the croft I was on had a cow, and so I could see milking, and it had hens and sheep, and it got me into land. It got me into a community thing, like the community worked together. In Vidlin you had, when the pets had to come home or the sheep had to be cad, you had a community. Nowadays, crofting has changed. Crofters new aren't fully employed on a croft, and they have another job. They're trying their best to accommodate the crofting work. So Vidlin started me off on this agricultural route, and then I went to agricultural college in 1967. Prior to that, I had to do a year on a farm on the mainland, and I went to McRoberts Farms Doonside. I was on a dairy farm, but that McRoberts Trust and a huge group of farms. So we saw the arable side and we saw the beef side, and we saw the dairy. And so that really hooked me, and I could quite happily have stuck there. The next year I had to go to Cribson. Cribson Agricultural College was hands-on then. You had in the morning, you worked the different aspects, practical aspects of farming. And in the afternoon and night you had your lectures and you had your classwork. So in 1967, when John Sheepy Smith, decided to employ me full time, there wasn't enough work here. I went to Barry Farm, and Barry Farm was a great experience for me.
So how long did you do that? The kind of half at Barry, half here.
The manager here decided, along with I assume Sheepy, to keep me fully employed here, so they went into knitting yarns. But I did a winter on Barry Farm, but every time they needed me, remember they owned this place, they would call me out, like the hay, the lambs, the shearing. I would go out there, and I enjoyed every minute of it, but I realised farming wasn't a real paying job. It still isn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult to say, but
you wouldn't have been a fisherman.
no, coming from an island community.
Is that what was expected, do you think, when you were young?
Well, when I was 13 and at Lerwick School, I went after the fishing, missed young boys, I suppose in Walsa and Borough, fishing communities would go after the fishing. Sadly, they had to carry me ashore the next morning, just about killed me, and I'm sick even thinking we're going to Barassa. So that's why I ended up working for a man called Sheepy, and I'm glad I did. And I would just like to wish everybody that listens to this a very happy Christmas and all the best for New Year.
Very good. So yeah, if you have other questions, you can leave them as comments or send us messages, and we'll do another one in the new year, Oliver.
Very good, yeah.
Okay, thank you.